Hey, so you decided you want to be a software engineer and you're trying to figure out how to get started. Or maybe you already are a software engineer, but you're trying to figure out how to get your career to the next level and position yourself for success in the future. In today's video, we're going to go through some pointers, pun intended, on how to take your career to the next level or how to get started as a software engineer. Without further ado, we're going to do this by going through the top 7 programming languages available, what you should be learning, how to get started, and what problems each one is suitable for solving out in the real world. Okay, so first, starting with the first one is JavaScript. But before you even start programming, the first thing to ask yourself is, what problem do you want to solve out there? What problem in the world are you trying to change? Once you have the answer to that question, then once we go through all 7 programming languages, you guys will have a better idea of what to pick based on the problem you're trying to solve. First one, like I said, is JavaScript. And JavaScript is mostly web-based. JavaScript is by far, well, not by far, but it is the biggest programming language out there when it comes to developers and a solid community around it building the ecosystem. It's basically used as a language of the web, okay? But it's also used in cloud computing. So a lot of companies like Amazon, Google, Facebook rely heavily on JavaScript just because of how big the web ecosystem is. The growth of JavaScript has started to slow down. However, there's still a lot of reliable frameworks for JavaScript, like Angular, which was developed by Google, React, developed and maintained by Facebook, and Vue. These are very awesome. While JavaScript is good for the web and cloud, it falls short in machine learning, IoT devices, which is just connected devices like Amazon's Alexa, Tesla's robotaxis, and a bunch of all other connected devices, and it also falls short for mobile app development. Next on the list is Python. Python is the second largest programming language out there. However, it is the fastest growing, okay, right now, and it's on pace, experts say, to take over JavaScript in the next 3 to 5 years. But we'll see how that goes. Python is excellent for machine learning, IoT devices, which is Internet of Things connected devices, and also for data analysis. However, it falls short when it comes to gaming, mobile programming, app development, and web. Although Python does have some plugins or some packages like Flask that helps it be good at web development, especially on the backend side of things. So these are some tips if you're deciding or thinking about Python. So next on the list is Java. Java, not JavaScript. Java happens to be the 3rd largest programming language, and it's still pretty much growing at a good pace. Not as fast as Python though, but it's growing at a good pace. Java is the number 1 when it comes to mobile app development, because pretty much app development on Android is done by Java. And Java is also big on the cloud. So if you're looking to work for like a cloud monster like Microsoft or Amazon or like Google with Android, Java might be the language for you. However, Java falls short when it comes down to IoT devices, machine learning, and also the web framework as a whole. And this is Java is an object-oriented language, kind of like Python and JavaScript is. However, Java, one shortcoming of Java is it uses a garbage collector, and this can be terrible for memory management. But one plus for Java is the multi-threading system can be really efficient when it comes to Java. Next on the list is C#. C# is highly used for desktop VR, which is virtual reality or augmented reality, and gaming in general. But it falls short when it comes to IoT devices, machine learning, and mobile applications in general. Like the others, C# is also object-oriented, widely used in desktops. Like I work for Intel and we use a lot of C#. However, it's not as popular as a Python or like as a Java or as a JavaScript. But however, I do believe VR and AR, augmented reality and virtual reality, are going to keep growing. So C# might be a language to watch out for. So next on the list, which is the 5th largest, is C/C++. I consider these two the same, even though they're not. C is not an object-oriented language. It's more of a slightly lower level programming than C is. But C is an C++. C++ is an object-oriented programming language that was built on top of C. Okay, so C++ is growing and it's really used in desktop programming, IoT devices. Microsoft uses this a lot. It's used in gaming and it's used in augmented reality and virtual reality. So if you're looking for like a job on Facebook with Oculus, this might be your go-to, or like a Microsoft or one of those bigger tech companies. However, C++ and C fall short in web programming, mobile programming, and cloud programming or cloud computing in general. Think about this if you're trying to decide to go the route of C. Now, 6th on the list, which I'm not going to spend too much time on this, is PHP. PHP has been around for a while. It's used basically as most of the back end in web programming is done on PHP. So PHP is suitable for web and cloud. However, I fall short in IoT, gaming, VR, AR, machine learning, the list goes on and on. Okay, so think about this if you were deciding on PHP. To be honest, I think Python is a better substitute because Python is growing fast and Python can also be used for backend in web programming. So last but not the least is Swift/Objective-C. I consider these two technically the same, even though they are not, because they are suitable for mobile app development and also for augmented reality and virtual reality. However, this language falls short, both of them fall short when it comes to desktop, IoT, and cloud. This is back in 2010 to 2015, this would have been your go-to. My advice would have been to go for this because mobile, I call it the mobile revolution. It was just starting to explode and mobile apps were being everywhere. So if you would have gone with this, you would have made a ton of money and made a successful career. But right now, mobile app development is starting to decrease and things are moving more to the cloud. Okay. So now with all this, here's what I'm betting my career on. This is where my future is going. I see Tesla creating robo-taxis and self-driving cars, right? This is going to use a lot of machine learning and a lot of cloud, right? Because the data has to be stored somewhere. I see the cloud in general, what Amazon is doing with AWS, what Microsoft is doing with Azure, and a bunch of other companies, what Facebook is doing. I see IoT devices, I see smart houses coming on with Alexa. The other day, my brother bought a light bulb and a fan that gets controlled by Alexa, right? So I just see how things are starting to be connected. So I'm betting my career and my future on machine learning and cloud computing or cloud storage in general. This is why I've chosen Python as my primary language to study. And then my secondary language is C and C++. I feel like every programmer needs a primary language, in my case Python, and a secondary language. So you do your research, watch the video, understand it, and decide what problem do you want to solve on the world. That's it for the video. I hope it was helpful, and I'll see you in the next one.